Hey guys, for today's video we're going to do a quick overview of how to do the alternator and the battery on a 2010 Chrysler Sebring. These are kind of funny because most alternator jobs, you get in there, you disconnect the negative terminal, the alternator's right on top, you get into it, or it's in the bottom or somewhere that makes a lot of sense. This one's intimidating, but it's still something that you can do yourself if you know a few things. Belt routing, how to clear the alternator out of the vehicle, and how to get to the battery. If you know those three things, you're going to be in good shape. So I'll fill you in on those, and then I'll give you, some broad strokes on how to get this done, and then some fine details where needed. So if you watch this video, you should be able to get to the battery, and you should be able to get to the alternator pretty good. And don't forget to charge your battery fully before replacing your alternator so that it doesn't zap it. I've got a video in the description link below, and it'll go over some of those details on why you should do. In fact, it was my last alternator video I did about a week ago. Anyway, be sure to watch that if you're not sure why you have to charge the battery before replacing your alternator. So enjoy the video. Cheers. If you want to know where the battery is on these things, it's in the wheel well, but it's pretty much in the front bumper right there. So the front bumper starts right here. The wheel well covers all of this with this. To get in there, you just got to pull these two little screws, and then you're into it, 6 body pins. From here, you just pull out the fasteners for this crossbar. Once you pull this bolt out, you can lift this, and then that'll cause that to go sideways and hook out like you see there. Contrary to my training, I pull the positive first because there's nothing really to get into it, and then having some kind of a mechanical ratchet or powered ratchet's nice. Otherwise, you can always pull the headlight. I'll show you how to do the alternator, at least some tips on it for a Chrysler Sebring. This one's a 2010. You can see I've got the battery charging, or it's done charging actually. You just charge it on these terminals. If I were to film this again, I'd show to pull this lug here, and that'll free you up so you don't have any risk when you pull the alternator. So what I do, instead of disconnecting the negative terminal, and this is at your own discretion and at your own risk, is I'll carefully pull the terminal off, and then I'll just electrical tape it all together, the one that goes on the back of the alternator. I pull off the idiot hood, and I want to throw it in the trash, but you can see it's a 2.4 liter. That's the only value that thing has, is it says what the engine is. But you can also find that up here. If you look, it says 2.4 liter. It says that the model year is 2010. And then this is a California emissions vehicle. So the first thing that I do is get rid of the idiot hood. I can't stand those things. But you pull this off the back of the alternator, tape it up, and then unplug the plug. In order to get the plug to unplug, I sound like a whiner because I'm talking about two things that I really don't like on Chrysler vehicles. One is that red tab on their electrical plugs. This one you pull straight back and then squeeze it, and then it still won't come off, but if you really wiggle it and jerk it and risk damage to the back of the plug, it will come undone. So on this car, you'll notice that the alternator seems to be buried. There's a big heavy duty bracket that the power steering pump is on. So, and then there's air conditioning lines. You don't want to have to discharge your air conditioning. You can't really get the alternator past this line because it's rigid on both sides and there's just not room. And then there's the fan here. So what are you going to do? How are you going to get it out? I'll show you. Here's a view of the alternator from below. You can see there's not a lot of room to get it out through this way either. So how do you do it? The tension to get the tension off the belt is this one. Make like you're trying to take that off in the counterclockwise direction, and it'll remove the tension from the belt, and then you can get it off. You pull 3 bolts on the AC compressor, one on the back, one at the top front, and another at the bottom front, and then you hang it down. Once you hang the AC compressor down like this, there's a cavity wherein you can service the alternator. There's one other thing that you have to do to get this bolt off the alternator, and that is pull the idler pulley. You can see another idler pulley up here, but that's a 16mm socket that you'll need for that. Make a drawing or make notes of how the pulley is, because it's pretty crazy. And just in case you didn't listen to me and draw a diagram like I did, ooh, that's clever. I'll take a minute and give you the tour. So the AC compressor runs straight up to the alternator and then detours for a pulley. It comes around the harmonic balancer, goes to the tensioner pulley, and then back over by the water pump, and then back up underneath of this idler pulley to get up over the power steering pump up here. This bolt here is a 13 millimeter, and it looks like this. This goes in this way. It's kind of long, but you'll get there. One of the cool ideas to the saddle mount to this, how it's open and you can just pull it off, and this little tab, it's amazing that idea didn't get squashed, but anyway, is that you can leave the bolt in. You don't have to loosen this all the way. That little tab that you have to maneuver is this right here. You see underneath the nut, there's that little sleeve that goes through the alternator. The purpose for that sleeve going through here is when you tighten it, it binds it down so that there's no rattle room, so that there's no noise, and it also helps with the ground circuit. You don't have to take the bolt all the way out. You can leave it in there, and then you don't have to worry about chasing this down. So when you loosen this one, just loosen it back to where you can wiggle it in and out. It'll feel kind of weird because it'll still be bound but able to move. Now you know why. Make sure that when you go to put the new one in, just set it up in this similar fashion, and that when you go to put it in, you just set it into that little slot. You little slot. There's a shot of that little saddle mount or whatnot where you can just take the bolt and just set it up in there. This is the nut that secures the wire, the output wire from the alternator. And you got to remember that output wire, the reason why I taped it up is it's like a live wire. It will not electrocute you, but it can ruin your car's computer or charging system or whatever. Even worse than the lot tech that was at the dealership that hooked up the jumper starter backwards on this. You can see the burn marks from it. I was like, dude, pull it off. He's like, what? Like, leave. Anyway, yeah, take your car to the dealership, they said. They know what they're doing, they said. To get this out, you need to move up and down on the pulley until you can get that rear slide to let go of the saddle, and then you just take it out through this. If you have big hands like mine, you can just grab it and pull it out. Otherwise, you can reach up around. If you have long arms, long skinny arms, you can reach around the AC compressor and get it out. But that's how it goes in and out of the vehicle, is through this little passage via lowering the AC compressor. So how do you know the alternator's bad? This one actually was putting out 14.5 volts when I tested it. But there's a lot of drag, it overheats. You can see that there's a lot of rust around there, that rust dust all around the pulley. And when you rotate it backwards, you can hear it chirp like a bird. I probably should have filmed, but on the car it was making a terrible racket and the battery would go dead. But when I charged the battery and tested it, the battery tested okay, more or less. So that's how it won a free trip out of the car and into a box to go back to be remanufactured.
Bonus footage at the end.
Mail call. We've got a letter from Charlie Tran. He is from Petal, Mississippi. Mississippi. I can't help but spell it. I love the name Mississippi. Let's check it out, see what we got. To Brian's Mobile One. Dear Brian, thanks for all you do, and of course all other YouTube mechanics do. Amen to that. I really love the videos you create. They're funny and helpful, which keeps many people entertained. Sometimes I binge watch your videos for hours just for fun. Keep it up. That's totally what I do. Not my videos, but other people's videos. Currently I'm watching a lot of Teal Swan. Not sure how to feel about it, but just, I don't know. She's like a hypnotist or something. A little history behind this plate. This plate was on a car that was involved in a collision. I believe you. It's not perfect, but hopefully it'll be good enough to knock off Mississippi. I'm just glad you sent it to me. Knock off Mississippi from the list of missing plates. Mississippi is a beautiful state, but unfortunately Mississippi ranks last in many categories, and hopefully this plate makes it in time so that it isn't last state on for your project. No, you beat 3 other ones by, easy. This isn't the last state for your project. Mississippi, that one's going to be like a big celebration, a big special thing, so I wouldn't feel too bad about that. Mississippi plates run for about 5 years before redesign comes along. The lighthouse on the plate means a lot. In August 2005, Hurricane Katrina completely wiped out the Gulf Coast. After Katrina passed, one of the very few structures left remaining along the coast was a lighthouse in Biloxi, Mississippi. To tribute that, the lighthouse was featured on the state license plate from 2008 to 2013. Again, thanks for all you do, my YouTube channel, and basically anything social media. Charlie Too Kind, Charlie Tran. Charlie, you are too kind. Thank you so much for sending the plate. We're going to just peel that off and get a look at this. Run, Forrest. That is cool. That's like powerful. It's like this glowing, awesome sunset, and just the story behind the lighthouse is pretty cool too. Awesome. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate it. Let's get you on the map. There you are. Ha. Let's go to the board. 47 present states. Can you believe it? I'm just about to have my whiteboard back. The plate's been coming into Brian's Mobile 1, P.O. Box 282, Cedar Valley, Utah 84013. We've got 3 states to go, thanks to Charlie Tran sending in Mississippi. We've got Delaware, Iowa, and Rhode Island yet to get. Oh yeah.